Hey everyone, welcome into DomTime. It's back. Obamacare, big in the news once again. And the reason is we're starting to chug toward the goal line, 2014, when a lot of the parts of Obamacare will become much more apparent. Organizing for America, the Obama ongoing group that helped to get the president elected, has this week bought a 7-figure ad buy to try to explain and promote Obamacare. Their argument: there's a lot of misinformation out there. That's why America, in poll after poll, finds this to be relatively unpopular still. Joining us tonight to give us their view of it and to talk about all aspects of it and to take your calls, and you may want to do that right now, particularly if you've changed your mind rather than remain the same on what you thought Obamacare was going to be, and now what you see it pleasantly or unpleasantly, which either way, we'd love to hear from you. Joining us is Matt Rooney, who's back with us. Matt is a conservative blogger. SaveJersey.com is Matt Rooney's blog. He's in opposition to it. And joining us, a new person here on the Giordano DomTime, is Elliot Griffin. Elliot is a representative of Philadelphia Young Democrats and is in favor of Obamacare. Elliot, welcome. And I have a quote here that you gave our staff. With so many issues that this Congress faces, it's an insult to the American people that the Republican Party would continue to waste so much time attempting to repeal a law that is so important. I happen to think it's still an ongoing question. Why do you think this is a waste of time to debate this and to go back and forth?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here for the first time. But I do think that repealing the law, when we have so many issues that are facing America right now, is in fact a waste of time. I don't think that anyone in the Democratic Party, myself included, would argue that the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare is perfect. It certainly is not. It certainly has its shortcomings. But if you're going to offer an alternative and bring something new to the table, then I think, this is a democracy and I welcome that discussion. But if we're just repealing a law that is helping millions and filling a much needed gap in this country, then yeah, you're wasting my time.
Why so unpopular, though? When you look at various polling across the board, any poll that you would take reasonably, up or down, if you ask people that in toto of this, I'd put it in the mid-50s or slightly less than that, negative, unfavorable.
And that's certainly what the polls are saying, but I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. That's why that OFA has launched this huge ad campaign to just put the numbers out there and show how many millions of Americans that this is truly helping.
All right, Matt, master of misinformation here in New Jersey with the conservative blog, one of the leading conservative blogs. What about the idea of Republicans ought to give up trying to repeal this and offer their own plan?
When you have a company and you have a product that isn't selling, you can try to blame it on misinformation. People just don't know about our product. Or you can take a look at it and maybe think the product isn't that good. And that's the problem. The president's advocates and supporters that are still left, according to that poll, say that it's helping millions.
Which part of it is unpopular? The 26-year-old? That seems to be unpopular. The stay on your parents' health insurance. You oppose it as a conservative, I'm sure. What's unpopular about that?
Yeah, and that's one of the only things that people do like. And unfortunately, the reason why they like it is because
pre-existing condition, helping people with pre-existing conditions, that's relatively popular.
Sure. There's a couple things out of those thousands of pages that people like. Okay. But unfortunately,
there's
a reason why they have to spend millions
There's
of dollars.
a couple things, but it's 2,200 pages or so.
Well, I would like to talk about the 3 million young people like myself who are under the age of 26 who are now able to stay on our parents' health insurance. I think that's a lot more than
At what cost,
a few people.
Though? What is that? What's the trade-off of being able to do that?
The trade-off means that when you graduate from college, if you have to take a part-time job or an entry-level position, or like many of my friends, maybe contract and do freelance work, the trade-off means that you can go to the emergency room. You can still get regular doctor's visits.
No, what I'm saying is the trade-off is, though, that companies are cutting back. They're going to make employees only work 30 hours now to stay out of Obamacare.
And this is what I mean. Rather than having discussions about repealing the law, then why are we not having discussions about how we close those loopholes so that private companies aren't taking those easy way out?
You want to stop private companies from their ability to determine what to do in their own company?
We certainly don't want to stop private companies from being able to do that, but from making their own decisions. But I do think there are certain securities that we have to mandate that people provide.
Okay, coming up, we'll find out if it is just misinformation. That's what I want to ask you viewers tonight. Call us. Is it misinformation? Do you want to clarify a point? Elliot can do that. Matt may clarify the other side's objection to that. Or is it really that as we see what's happening with this, there are a lot of legitimate objections despite some of the good points of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act? That's straight ahead on DomTime.